Here's the ugly truth. AI won't replace great leaders, but it will replace fractionals who don't know how to use it.
It's the concept of like a good leader won't be replaced by AI. They'll be replaced by other good leaders that know how to leverage AI.
Watch as we break down the real criteria that separate successful fractionals from those who never get off the ground.
So how do you know you're ready to do it? I think there are two pieces to the are you ready? One is financially, are you ready? And the second is experience, are you ready? So let's talk about experience first. If you run a team and led strategic initiatives in your area of expertise for at least 10 years, you're probably ready to be a fractional. You can probably take that experience and focus it into a small handful of clients. Okay.
Yeah.
If you've been doing consulting and not just the button pushing tactical stuff, but led strategy, led implementation for at least 5 years, you were probably a corporate exec or something before that. You're probably ready to jump in. If you held that, at least that director level job title in corporate, especially in bigger corporate, you're probably ready. So just from a tenure role kind of perspective, that's sort of what I think about. If you've just been the tactician, the implementer, then doesn't mean you can't be in this world, but you want to position yourself a little differently.
Yeah. And so on that, before we get on to the financial side of it, I want to ask you a question there, or interject it a little bit, because, one of the interesting interplays here is we're starting to consider workforce differently. Okay. With the rise of AI employees and so on and so forth, we're considering workforce differently. And one of the things that AI is forcing us to do in workforce analysis is look and realize that, there have been positions that were strategic, there were positions that were tactical, and there were positions that were analytical. And so I wanted to put to you this concept, because I hear you and I agree with you that as a fractional, you have to be able to lead strategy. But I think as a fractional, you also had that background in the analytical as well.
Absolutely.
And maybe you have done the tactical, but that's not the last thing that you did. You know how to take the data, analyze it, and create strategy.
You can't separate, in my mind, analytical and strategy development, right? You have to have the data. You have to have something to inform the strategy. So absolutely right. And the way we get to the data is changing, right? We can get to that data and get to real, conclusions much quicker utilizing AI and the tools we have on hand. So that speeds up the process. So we can be more impactful more quickly. It's the concept of like a good leader won't be replaced by AI. They'll be replaced by other good leaders that know how to leverage AI. And so as a fractional, we need to bring those tools to the table. So maybe that's part of Are You Ready, is to go out and do some research, train up, get familiar with and comfortable with some of these tools. Because there's a good likelihood if you're working in kind of a legacy market, let's say you're working in like a manufacturing or a construction, sometimes they're slow to adopt new technologies. Right, and you bring new technology to the conversation, you're going to be elevated big time.
Real quick.
So please, you brought that piece up, because that is a big part of when we come in from the outside, we're expected to bring new ideas, new tools, new approaches. Right. So I think that's a big piece of it. So you're right on. So the other piece is the financial. In my community, we're seeing new fractionals land their first fractional engagement in around 90 days, give or take, plus or minus. But I also talked to a lot of other fractionals that are 6 months in and are like, holy cow, I still haven't landed my first one. And they're starting to see the cash strain hit. So from a financial, are you ready? I would suggest that you need to have 90 to 120 days of cash on hand to continue to pay your bills and continue to live your life. Right? That feels like a long time, a long runway of cash. The hope is that, that stuff ends up just being in the savings account and never gets touched. But if you're 2, 3, 4 months in, you're starting to feel your funnel, you're starting to feel good, but you're out of cash, It changes
That changes things.
how we show
Changes
up.
you.
Changes how you show up. So when you show up to that next opportunity, maybe it's the first prospect that you've actually spoken to, you'll show up differently.
Desperate. Yeah.
Desperate. You'll cut your prices, you'll discount, you'll give them more than you should. So if you can have 90 to 120 days of cash in the bank, hoping that you won't need to use it all, that's a really good baseline for knowing that, look, you're starting a new business. That's what you're doing. You're starting a business. It just takes time to get the wheels in motion.